Today we're talking about some more Lakers trades and more Lakers offseason moves that they could potentially make. So today we're talking about Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets, who had a very down season last year and really could have played better. But it did not because he was on a horrible team. James Harden was trying to get out of there as fast as he possibly could, got traded to the Mets. Hey, before we get into the video, if you haven't already subscribed to our Trade Hoops channel, then please subscribe it so that you can get all the latest notification of our videos. So let's start with today's video. Basically, Kelly Oubre. Really, like when you think about it's Kelly Olynyk and draft picks, like really nothing. And for this trade to work, since Eric Gordon is making nearly $17 million a year, which is probably too much for Eric Gordon at this stage in his career. Really, to get this trade to work, you would have to get another player back from the Rocket. So maybe you do Kelly Olynyk, Eric Gordon, double trade, like you get both of those guys. And then, maybe the Lakers give up Dennis Schroeder and KCP, or now let's see, Kyle Kuzma. You give up those two players. Let's say Kelly Olynyk gets $18 million a year. Let's say he gets $13 million a year. And you should sign Dennis Schroeder to about an $18 million a year contract. So if Kelly Olynyk is $13 million a year, and Kyle Kuzma gets about $13 million a year, those two can just get traded for each other right there. Then you sign Dennis Schroeder a little bit more than what Eric Gordon is, just because the Lakers can't take any more back in than they are giving up. Then, that works out good. And you can't really trade Eric Gordon straight up for anyone, because that's $70 million. Nobody on the Lakers is really making that. And if you were to trade, potentially, maybe, can trade Kuzma plus Gasol plus Alfonso McKinney. But that's kind of a bad trade for the Rockets. And I don't know why they would do that. If they were to get Kuzma back though with Dennis Schroeder, and they were giving up someone that was probably going to leave in Kelly Olynyk and Eric Gordon, who they probably don't really even need anyway, and that's kind of a good deal for the Rockets as well as the Lakers. And for the Lakers, I actually like this move a lot, because then in your lineup you have whoever your point guard is. I don't really know who it ends up being in this trade scenario. Let's say who's like an average point. I don't know, you've just a point guard, doesn't really matter who it is. Shooting guard, you have containers Caldwell Pope. Small forward, you got liberal and power forward. You have Kelly Olynyk, and in center Anthony Davis, and then off the bench you have Eric Gordon, you have Marc Gasol, and whoever else is still left around. And I really like this move, because for the Lakers, Kelly Olynyk I think would be a great starting for now. I know this Lakers said they wanted to run the bronze the 4 ad at the 5 more, but Kelly Olynyk I think is like the perfect for to go next to Anthony Davis, because he still can play the small ball 5 when you need him to any construction the floor really well. So like a more improved, faster Marc Gasol basically. And he can shoot the 3 ball pretty dang good, which is what the Lakers need. He's like a what is he like a high 30s 3-point shooter, which I believe is better than average 3-point shooter, which is really nice. He's a very good shooter for the Miami Heat in their championship run last season, or I guess 2 seasons ago now, because the Bucks just won. But then if you look at like the center position, then you have Marc Gasol off the bench, Anthony Davis your center, because that's where he strives, then LeBron small forward. Heck, you could even run LeBron at the point guard, Eric Gordon shooting guard, KCP small forward, and then Kelly Olynyk. And Anthony Davis, you could do that. But I think Eric Gordon might be taking role, which I know you might not want to be paying someone $17 million to come off the bench, but you really need shooting. And he is a very good shooter, like one of the best shooters in the NBA, making about close to 40% of his 3-point shots when he is at his best last season. Gordon says, it's just all about coming in and doing your job. That's the easy part about being on good teams. When you're on teams that are young and rebuilding, you have to give a lot more. Like I said, I'm open to winning. And when you're open to winning, of course you're going to do whatever it takes to help people. It's always good to help people and be all incorporated into winning. Like I said, it went way down because he was just on such a bad team in a bad scenario. He wasn't getting as many open looks because he didn't have Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, or James Harden on his team to take players off of him and give him more open shots. All he really had was Christian Woodford half the season, because he was injured a lot, and Killer Link for like 20 games, and Kevin Porter Jr. once he became good, and I guess John Wall. Like they're really much going on in the Rockets. I think the Rockets need to look to move John Wall as well. He's horrible contract though, so I don't really know what else you could get for him besides maybe Kevin Love. Those are really the only 2 contracts I can see like getting swapped for each other, because they both have such bad contracts. And if you are to trade John Wall, I don't know if you want Kevin Love back, because he might even have more years on a contract than John Wall. But yeah, that's what I think about that. Now, looking at the rest of the roster, you could fill it out with some more shooters, maybe like Carmelo Anthony, which I know that doesn't give you a lot of defense. Same with Eric Gordon, might not give you the most defense anymore because he is getting older. Like I said, he's in his 30s now I believe, and maybe look for someone like a Doug McDermott, TJ McConnell. Those players have both been rumored to the Lakers. Maybe look for a trade for a point guard like a Colin Sexton, which is my favorite player, come to the Lakers. Would hope that they can make a move for him. Obviously, like there's the bigger ones like Damian Lillard, are players that are more unrealistic, but still, like possible. kind of barely. But Aragorn is a reachable player that I think is possible. The only reason I don't think it could, like I think it might not happen, is because his age, his last season's performance. And he was contracted, which $17 million is so much to pay someone like Eric Gordon. But you might just have to do it just because of what you need. Gordon said, "Our core guys are still here, and I still have high expectations going into the season. No matter what all the outside noise is, when there's a game, I feel like we're going to be ready to play." He became the third Laker this season to score 40 or more points in one game, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, and the first player other than Harden to score 50 or more points in 24 years. You might have to overpay for what you need, because three-point shooters are expensive in the NBA. And that is what the Lakers lacked last season. And that could have been the reason that Lakers lost the Suns in the first round, because they took them to 6 games with an injured Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So we will have to see what happens next season. So what you guys think of trade? Let me know in the comments section below. To stay up to date with my latest videos and latest NBA news. Well, Eric Gordon is locked up through the 2023 season with the Lakers. However, Eric Gordon, former Indiana Hoosier, and 32-year-old NBA veteran, is on the books through the 2023 NBA season. A full look at Gordon's contract, make sure to subscribe to Trade Hoops YouTube channel by clicking the red subscribe button. Thank you for watching. If you like watching our video, then please don't forget to like and share and obviously subscribe.